even. Let's see. I want the camera to be even, so then I can, like, in one video I'm not like looking down, and then another video I'm like looking up. So once again, this is a new brand and this is a new idea. So you're going to get the real behind the scenes grassroots of this movement, I guess. Let me see. Oh, still not even close to being even. Y'all give me a second to get some books. Let's see. It's a little better. I just don't want to be like, let me see. You kind of still on the YouTube. Oh, we have one person joining me on the YouTube. Ooh, you can see. Let's see. Okay, maybe if I do, I know it's huge. I don't know. I guess this is the best I can do for right now until I figure out how to. I know there's like software where you can stream on Facebook and YouTube, but I want to do it on Instagram. Hello. Sorry, I should be clicking these waves. Hello, and hello to the one watcher on YouTube. Thanks. Dang it. I really wish there was a way to make it more eye level so like it doesn't look like I'm looking else. Maybe if I put this a little bit better. Okay, well, this is new. We'll figure it out as we go along. I did want to, either way, I wanted to stream on both. Hey! Either way, I wanted to stream on both. Just to be consistent. So yes. So happy St. Patrick's Day. Like I said earlier, I did not celebrate St. Patrick's Day before I lived in New Jersey. And I mean, I still I care. I just don't. We don't do like, my family doesn't do like a dinner or anything like that. But I understand what it is now. And I guess I care more than I did before. And I bet, Maddie said till I'm in Boston, I bet it is a blast in Boston. Two things I want to do. I want to do a St. Patrick's Day, like I guess in Boston, somewhere where they actually like care. So to do the more cultural thing, because obviously in college, it wasn't very cultural, college. It wasn't very cultural, but I would like to do it in a place where they do make it and celebrate it as a cultural thing. And then another thing is I want to do a Catholic Easter. Protestants celebrate Easter, obviously, but from my friends that are Catholic, or at least from the north. I don't know how different it is, but like I've seen people do these big blown out spreads with all this, and I really, really want to do that. We celebrate it, but I feel like we don't do as big as like other cultures or religions. I don't know, but I really want to experience as well. So anyway, so let's get into answering some questions. Someone asked, what is my goal in this season of life? My biggest goal in the season of life, honestly, is to walk in my purpose. And right now, what I believe God is guiding me is, I believe what God is guiding me to do is to help those who can't help themselves. And that's honestly like my whole purpose of life. Like, I know that sounds very broad. And I'm sure people say that all the time, but I do feel as if that is things in the pro-life world. The brand, those are the girls. I keep calling it a brand because it is going to be more than just a podcast. Is helping people who can't help themselves. Not necessarily, it doesn't mean like, for example, the preborn, they can't help themselves because they are in bellies and whatnot. Or people with special needs can't help themselves because of various reasons. But people who might not know where to even begin. So, for example, I really do have a passion to get the word out when it comes to pro-life, when it comes to conservative values, to females like myself that are Christian and I guess that grew up similarly to me, because I think a lot of times people end up not caring and I do have a passion about getting them to care at least a little bit. And I feel like that is an example of just like helping people who can't help themselves, or people who don't know to do this, I guess is what I'm trying to say, I guess. So yeah, so that is my purpose right now, just walking in that, and just that is my goal for the season, is to walk in this purpose. So Max, do you have a sunrise service? No, we just go and we celebrate Easter. It's usually a sermon pertaining to Jesus raising from the dead, and then my family will do like a family dinner. My family will do like a family dinner, like depending on who was there, and like I guess depending on the age of everybody, we might do like an Easter egg hunt. But we don't do the Easter bunny. Like I even grew up no Santa, which I'm gonna do for my kids. I am anti-Santa. That's a whole nother conversation. I could get into it today too if anybody wants to hear it, but we grew up with like no Easter bunny, just the Easter egg, just because like I don't know, I guess it's just a thing, more of a cultural thing. That's how I feel. So I got in a very interesting discussion with someone over whether Christians should celebrate Christmas, because I knew it was controversial, but this person told me I needed to repent and X, Y, and Z over celebrating Christmas. Yes, anti-Santa. And I said that at this point, Christmas is just a cultural thing. It's just something, I mean, there's people who don't even believe in Jesus who celebrate Christmas. So it's just a cultural thing. You have to make it Christian. And I think I could understand, anti all of that stuff, because it's not real, and I just don't see the purpose of it. But yeah, so you can make Christmas Christian by putting the focus on Jesus. I know a lot of people, and I started doing this 2 years ago, going through Luke every single day, Christian, to celebrate it. But yeah, no, he told me I needed to repent. He said that the Bible literally says not to do Christmas trees or something like that, and then like he blocked me on everything. So it was just a very interesting conversation. But yeah. No Santa, no Easter Bunny, no Tooth Fairy either. I think it's just safe. Like I will do the dollar, maybe $2. No, $1. Maybe if they're extra good, $5 max. I'll do the thing under the pillow just because, oh look, it's funny. But like I'm gonna say like, yeah, mommy and daddy do it. And maybe we'll do like you lost a tooth. When you lose a tooth, maybe you'll get $1 within the week. So like maybe still make it a surprise to win. I think that sounds like that'd be fun. But the whole like, yeah, and then someone's coming in. No, I don't think that's necessary. Same with Santa. I think the idea of Santa is creepy. I don't get how that's like widely accepted. Maybe that's just me. I watch a lot of true crime. Maybe I'm just in my head, but to me that sounds really creepy. As a kid, I feel like I would have thought it was kind of creepy too, but I don't know. So yeah, anybody have any more questions? If not, I can just rant on a topic real quick. Things going on. Okay, so I'm trying to think of some things that have gone on. Oh, good. Prince Albert brought the Christmas tree the West as its 3 points represent the Trinity. See, like you can make it. You can redeem something like that. And like, oh, the other thing is he was like, well, that's like saying there's a kid who's terrified of Santa and stuff. She didn't want to come to class today. She thought there would be leprechaun. Yeah, see, I think you should avoid all of it. Just avoid all of it. Also too, once again, the only thing I knew about leprechauns was Luck of the Irish, that movie. And then I want to say there was like a movie about leprechauns coming to the hood that used to come on TV. And I wasn't allowed to watch it, but I remember seeing the trailer for that and being like, ooh, that's scary. So like I don't get the point of like the fake like characters to all this stuff. I just think that you just celebrate it for whatever reason. Ooh, my eyebrows. Look over that. I know what we were talking about. That was so scary. and Lucky Charm cereal. Yeah. I celebrate Hanukkah because I'm Messianic. Okay, yelled at a Christian pastor for not doing Christmas. Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Wow. About being Messianic. That's really cool. And see, I don't think it's wrong to do or not do any of the holidays. I don't think you're any less Christian. I think it's a secondary issue. I think there are primary issues like believing that Jesus is God, which, funny story, there are some Christian political commentators that I've found out that don't believe Jesus is God. So we can get into that another day. I don't have enough information to like fully discuss that, but some people that are Christian conservative political commentators don't even believe Jesus is God. So that's like a primary issue. I think that is a salvation issue. If you don't believe Jesus is God, yikes. But I think like celebrating Christmas, celebrating Hanukkah, all that stuff is, yeah. Okay, so, okay, so, okay, so, okay, so Ruslan. I don't know if you guys know Ruslan. Sorry, what just now I was also getting text messages, so I was like trying to read both. Okay, so Ruslan, I don't know if you guys follow him on YouTube. He's a Christian rapper. Love him, but he's no NF. NF has my heart. But he is a Christian rapper, and he does like this man puts out like 3 YouTube videos a day. Sometimes it's live, so I don't know how he does it. He puts out 3 YouTube videos a day, and he actually discusses debates or whatever with Bryson Gray a lot. And he put out a video about Brandon Tatum, said that Jesus never said he was God, or that Jesus isn't God, something like that. And that's what I'm going to say. We can discuss more. But look up Ruslan, Ruslan, Brandon Tatum, and you'll find all of the tea on that. It's real interesting. But yeah, I don't see anyone any less whether to celebrate. It's a secondary issue. I think primary issues are the big thing. And I think churches split over secondary issues because we put too much focus on secondary issues. And also too, people are convicted to do different things. I know some people are convicted not to, for example, some people are convicted not to drink at all. But then there's people who say drinking at all is a sin or terrible. Like that, those are things that are not, like you can't put your convictions on someone else. God convicts different people of different things that are not secondary issues. So there are things that God lines up as sin. So getting drunk is a sin. Drinking, maybe because you like the way, for example, pink Moscato tastes like fruit juice. Maybe you like pink Moscato, so you just want to have a cup but not get drunk. That's not the sin. The sin is getting drunk. So like God can convict you and say, hey, you know what? You should not drink, or you feel convicted to not drink. Then that's something, and you can't put that on someone else. There's other sins that you can apply that to that I'm not going to get into right now. But you can think of one that I'm sure we're all thinking of that people use as a say, oh, God doesn't care. Okay. Let me think. What else? What other topics to talk about? We're going to talk about it in the weekly recap probably, but I'll say my 2 cents here. Personally, I am tired of talking about WAP and Dr. Seuss. I am still talking about it, so clearly I'm falling into the trap. But I'm kind of tired of talking about it. I feel like we talked about it enough. A very good point someone made was they talk about it so much that they're giving it like playtime. Like, it's being on TV and getting people's eyes more than it should be. So that's kind of how I feel. I feel like it's kind of like we've talked about it. Like, we get it, it's wrong. Like, let's talk about why it's wrong more. In the sense, and this is what I do want to get into on the episode. I think we should start saying, okay, this is wrong because sexual exploitation is wrong because it affects society because of X, Y, and Z. Instead of just showing this clip and being like, this is so wrong. Let's talk about why Cardi B is evil. And like, I don't think she's like the greatest person on earth. But I mean, I'm so tired of talking about and Dr. Seuss. I'm so tired of talking about Dr. Seuss. Turns out his family is the one that did it, so maybe it had nothing to do with cancel culture. I don't know. Read the books if you want. Don't if you don't. We beat the horses. It's over. Like, let's move on to other topics. There's so many other pressing things we could be talking about. And I think that's something that we need to work on in the conservative movement is we talk about topics too long. Like, okay, we get it. WAP is bad. We've been talking about WAP since it came out last year. We get it. WAP is bad. We get it. Cardi B is wrong. Okay, let's talk about, so this is wrong. Not only this art is wrong, so let's start supporting art that is not wrong. Like, let's come on. We beat the dead horse. Like, let's move on. Let's talk about other stuff. Yeah, I want to get more into that on the podcast episode. Meghan Markle. I still keep seeing, and I mean, not just from conservatives, but also too from the news. Like, okay, like now they're like suing somebody, or like Gayle King said that they've been talking to the father or something like that, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, okay, and like, I don't know, like, I don't get why it matters. And like, at first I was like, ooh, she's a princess. Oh, thank you so much, you're so sweet. And at first I was like, ooh, she's a princess, that's cool. And then like she left, so then like the appeal lost for me. Also too, I personally cannot imagine leaving a castle. If you know my handle, or like my thing is that I'm a princess, I'm a queen. If I actually have the ability to be a real one, I just can't. Like, what? Hey. Hey, Derek. Funny story about Derek. Great kid. I'm trying to get the mass use their sex ed. Thank you. Planned Parenthood is trying to get school districts in mass to use their sex ed curriculum. Yeah. Oh, so we can talk 2 seconds about something. We can talk 2 seconds about that. Like, the Equality Act has a lot of things in there that the biggest. Okay. Tell a story about me. Let me comment on what Maddie said first. So the Equality Act, the biggest problem with the Equality Act is the religious exemptions. And there was an act similar to that was brought, but it didn't go through, and it didn't have it still had religious exemptions. And that's not fair. That goes against the First Amendment. Also too, so sex ed. So personally, I'll tell my personal story really quick. I never had sexual education. And that's good and bad. I do think that stuff should be left to the parents. And maybe the parents get sent home the curriculum and then they talk about it. I don't know. I'm not in charge of that. I pray for those who are, because that's a tough task to do. But I don't think that it's fair. Planned Parenthood is trying to get school districts in mass to use their sex ed curriculum. I don't think that Planned Parenthood. I think it should be, if there is going to be sex ed, I think it should be a completely neutral organization, but I don't know where you would find that. I understand why I personally would want a religious aspect to mine because I'm going to raise my kids Christian and I want them to have the Christian worldview. That's personally what I want, but like at a public school, I understand that that's probably not available. That's probably not, you can't do that at a public school. It confuses how conservatives view liberals or they different beliefs in there. Okay. I'll explain that in 1 second. So yeah, but at a public school, I think it should be somebody neutral, someone who doesn't have an agenda. And I don't know where you find that, but that's how I think it should be handled. At a Christian school, though, I want the Christian perspective. I want abstinence stuff at the Christian school. So yeah. Okay, so the next question, explaining equality. Okay, so you should listen to episode 60 of the podcast. Link is in bio. You can also listen to the podcast literally anywhere you listen to podcasts. Name a place, we're there. iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, Radio Public, a bunch of other random ones that I never heard of. We're there. So listen to episode 60 because Amanda explains it so well. But the three biggest things conservatives are against in the Equality Act is there are no religious exemptions. So the problem would be if, for example, I'll just use the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church, the Pope just said that they were not going to honor same-sex couples, the marriage. So the Catholic Church would be fined a same-sex marriage within there because there's no longer religious exemptions. The problem with that, and I understand, so just to explain things, because I know people on here disagree with this. So I dated someone white. My ex-boyfriend was white. So I will put it in the standpoint. If I was somewhere, and there are people who still don't think interracial couples should be a thing. So let's say I was somewhere and someone did not want to marry my ex and I because we were interracial. To that would suck. I think that's dumb. But I would still, if they cite some sort of religion, I would still fight for that religious right because it's affecting me now. It's affecting me negatively now, but only now can affect you. Like we want certain barriers up for the future. So yeah, that sucks. Like, dang, he doesn't want to marry me because we're an interracial couple. What do? You talk about it on social media, tell your friends, don't support them, and then you move on because it is their right to do that. And that, once again, that's unfortunate, that sucks, but like that's their right. So that's one of the first things, the religious thing. The second thing is it starts putting things like gender. Your gender is fluid. So it starts making concrete decisions based on fluidity, and that's not right because one day your gender can be something else, and that's can mess up. I wish I could explain it a little bit better. Amanda does a really good job, but that it's a negative. Go to our page and go to our website and like listen to it. The third thing, and to me probably one of the biggest things, is that it gets rid of the moral obligation to like if you morally object to doing an abortion, you can be fined. You can lose your license, things like that. And that is awful. Awful. I whether you're pro-abortion or not, I think you can agree that if someone doesn't want to do it, they shouldn't have to. So yeah, that is, and the reason why liberals believe that it is good is because it sounds really good. Because let's be honest, we all have friends that are gay or transgender. I actually don't know anybody transgender in real life. But I'm sure people have friends that are transgender. We have friends that are gay, and we love our friends. We want them to not be discriminated against. The reality is they're not being discriminated against. Now I will say this, I'm sure there are people who scam the system and do things, and like that's, but there's nothing is in law saying that this person, you cannot hire X, Y, and Z because they're gay. That's not in law. That has not been a law. recently. That's not something in there. So adding more to it isn't fixing the problem. But yeah, I think a lot of people are, a lot of liberals are pro it because it just sounds really good. And I agree. Like, I want my friends to be treated the same way as everyone else. I absolutely do. Whether I agree with everything that they are doing doesn't matter. I still want them to be treated like an actual human being and respected. That's, I mean, that's just a right thing to think and believe. But this isn't how. This is not the way. This is not the way. There was a bill that was created a while ago by conservative Republicans. So it contradicts Christian views as well. It does sound good, which is why I was confused. Taylor Swift talked about it being a good life when it contradicts the Bible. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Again, like, it sounds really good, and that's what I hate about a lot of these things. They just sound so good, and you're like, yeah, let's do it, let's help people, let's da da da. But like, when you really get into it, it's not good. And like I said, Amanda explains it so much better than I do. If you just go to those other girls with Mallory and Friends, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and listen to the episode. Also, too, there's infographics on the page as well. Any other questions about anything? We've been going almost 30 minutes. Maybe I'll do another 10 minutes max. Any other questions? Any other questions? Really? Oh, someone had a question. Because we them myself. Do you believe what the governor did with trans youth was okay? Okay, wait. What specifically? The governor of where, Derek? And what? I don't know what incident you're specifically talking about. Mississippi. Let's see. I can get that up really quick. Trans youth Mississippi governor. Let's see here. Governor signs bill banning trans athletes. There's a bill that will ban trans youth from sports. So, okay, I agree that biological males should not play sports with biological females. I don't think it's a fair. So, I also believe men and women are not the same. I don't think that God created us the same. I think men are stronger than women. Obviously, there are going to be some women that are stronger than some men, but as overall, I do believe men are stronger than women in every aspect, and I don't think that it's fair to have them placed in the same, biological men and biological women to be in the same sports categories. I will say this: I do think that if these children want to play sports, I think they should play sports. I don't think that's fair that they don't play any sports. I don't know if that's necessarily what all is in there. I think that maybe they should have their own league, or they should just play within their biological group, I guess, for lack of better words. Yeah, I mean, so I do have sympathy, because I will say it's the show. Do not recommend. It was so good at first, and then it just is it's gone downhill like a lot. Tell a story about me if you have one about me. Thank you for your story. I will. One second. Let me tell this thing really quick about the show. It's called The Bold Type, and it used to be super cute and fun because it was about these 3 girls that moved to New York, and they write for a magazine. But then it started to get very much every episode is some sort of social justice issue, propaganda type thing. So it's not as fun anymore. Before it was just oh, fun, girly. Now it's not really. But anyway, so like I said, I have sympathy. They did an episode about a person. I don't remember which way they were transitioning, but this person wanted to run, but they couldn't because they had transitioned, this and that. And like, they did a really good job pulling at your heartstrings. Like, oh man. So I do have sympathy for the issue, but we also have to think about like the truth and what's fair. And the truth is, men are stronger than women, and it's not fair for them to play in a biological sport with another woman. So yeah. So okay, a story about Derek. So Derek is a anti he's a pro-choicer that I met in October. Maybe was it October probably? Hey Caroline. Whenever the women's no, I met you before. No, whenever the Women's March was, so October. And he apparently is someone who comes to all of the Students for Life rallies to protest against us. But anyway, he became friends with all of us in the SCOTUS squad. So, nice kid. If you have topics or questions, submit them. We're also going to be talking about immigration for our We Believe series on tomorrow. So you still have time to submit your questions in our box. What's something you hope for Hollywood? Whew, good question. I like that. And then we're going to end on this. What do I hope for? Says conservatives talk about X, Y, and Z is wrong, but they never give an alternative. And I think that's something or another's. I mean, it's a good, like, the plot is amazing. The twist at the end, fantastic. And another thing, Chase Crawford. And wait, who does he's in the show. Who's Chase Crawford? Does he play a character in the show? I'm looking it up real quick. But the show is like really, really good. It's just he plays. Oh yeah, okay, super cute. Oh my god, 90% of his scenes are just like this. You could get the. I was a Pretty Little Liars girl. I wasn't a Gossip Girl. Girls, I've actually never seen Gossip Girl. I think I tried the first couple of episodes and it was like kind of boring to me. But okay, his scenes, like half of them are unnecessarily sexual. Like, unnecessarily sexual. So anyway, I would love for us to move away from that. I would love it. How do the born again? I used to work for Vogue magazine, but they weren't born into Christian. It's difficult because it's so far gone. How do the born again Christian preach to Hollywood? Girl, I don't know. I think the best. Well, a lot of people, you just have to live the life. You just have to make sure that you're living a good. You're being a good light. And I think just getting people individually, and honestly, I think that's why. Have you reach out to me behind this account? If you haven't already, you may have. But we're doing a Teen Girls magazine, and we would love to have you. I think that's the only way we're going to do things like that. We just have to have our own stuff. Like, we just have to do our own stuff. Okay. I need to go. These are really good questions. And I do want to talk. So many good shows are ruined by unnecessary sexual. Yes, girl. I know. I would pay good money for that. Like, if they could take out